we've just got one last thing to look at before I close this out and give you the information on where to get these. And that is to do a quick tear down of these to make sure there's nothing crazy going on inside. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and tear this down real quick. I'm not going to be super detailed here because I really don't expect anyone to take theirs apart. But we've got screws around the outside. Looks to be 8 of them. And then it looks like we've got 2 on the hub motor. So we'll go ahead and take those off as well. And let's see what happens. Alright, so there's your access to the motor if it ever breaks. It looks like you've got a couple socket head screws there. This other set of screws I think might just hold on the top. So let's see here. Probably all going to fall out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's one more. Oh, that is not what I meant to do at all. Okay, so it looks like the top cover is going to be what we want here. All right, interesting. So inside here, we've got a couple PCBs that light up the top, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop that off real quick. We've got a locking connector on the PCB for those lights. Also on the PCB, we can find a locking connector for what I would assume is the hall sensor. We've got another locking connector here, which attaches maybe to accelerometer, or oh, it looks like it attaches to the front and back sets of lights. So that's interesting. We've got our hall or our phase wires here. Looks like we had a little bit of an assembly goof here where they pressed the enclosure right into those wires. Not super encouraging. Of course, I don't recommend anyone takes apart their device, but I wanted to take it apart just to show you guys and see what was inside. Here we've got our battery, 25.2 volt battery. We've got UN specification on here, which is good. Of course, they can say whatever they want. They claim that they're also ISO 9001 certified, which is good. We've also got a CE logo on here, which again could mean nothing, but at least they're trying, right? I would like to get into this battery pack, but it seems like we might have a couple more screws underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and take off this PCB. Again, don't recommend you do this, but I'm qualified and I know what I'm doing here, so this is purely for educational purposes, not instructional. After removing the screws, we can lift off the ESC PCB, which is quite interesting. It looks like it connects to the battery using an XT30, XT30U, which is perfectly acceptable. This is not a very high-powered device. Got our MOSFETs on a small heatsink here, And we now have access to the other 2 screws that hold in the battery, or the battery cover. So I'm going to go ahead and take off those 4 screws now to get to it. Probably gonna disconnect the battery here just for safety. We'll just let that sit off to the side and take off these 4 screws. I'm expecting there to be a, 25 volts is 6S, right? 4.2 times 6. Now that we've got the screws off, we should be able to pop this off. Ooh, it feels like there's some adhesive in there. Doing this for science. Hopefully nothing gets broken. Oh, actually it looks like there's a screw hiding underneath here. So we're just gonna go ahead and sneak that out. Thought they could get past me, huh? Nope. Are there 2? Maybe just some adhesive in there. Let's see if I can peek inside. There is another one right here. All right, so there's 6 screws in here. And now it should come off, right? Right. There we go. Now we just have a little bit of hot glue. All right, so in here we have got our battery and our BMS. From what I can see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 balance leads, I think, and what looks to be some thermistor wires, which is actually pretty nice to see. And then it looks like our other 2 cells are snuck under here. So maybe we've got 4 cells up here and 2 cells underneath. You can see right here we've got some spot welded nickel strips that wrap up onto the BMS themselves. So good to know. I don't really think I want to take this out anymore. To be honest, this looks pretty decently made. I don't really have any complaints here. Let's see what kind of cells we've got. We have 2000 milliamp hour cells. Not able to see the entire name of them. I'm going to assume it's NCR 18650 2000 milliamp hour. Not sure what this brand is, but I'm gonna look it up and see if I can find it. Probably kind of low powered cells, but again, not necessarily needing a lot of power here. So there you go. That's all I'm gonna do for this teardown. I think that is plenty, and I think it is pretty educational. Also, it seems like a lot of this is actually metal, maybe a big cast metal piece. Maybe not. It's hard to tell. It sounds like some of it's plastic. But there's definitely some cast metal in here. I know these side rails are metal, so maybe the ring is, and then maybe some plastic in the middle. But it feels very well made. Pleasantly surprised, nothing egregious in here, so gets a pass for me.